Alright, we're gonna break the ice, guys. It's been forever. What's new? What's used? I'm just joking. This is Dance from Cobra Kai. It's been forever since I've put out a video, and I thought, you know what? I posted earlier that, you know what? You're gonna get some coming. Here they come. I felt I was gonna redo all the Guardian showcases, so we're just gonna get right into it. You know what I mean? So we're gonna start by doing what I used to do back in the day here, and we're gonna go through all the Guardians here in a certain way, but we're gonna start by ascending by name, like we used to all the day, and we're gonna start with Aladdin, like we used to. Okay, so Aladdin, decent melee, love him. This guy actually does really well. I haven't done him justice by leveling up, but he's my next one on my list because I like him for stealthy in rift raids and things like that, but that's down the road. But the biggest thing about him is his abilities, and we're just going to go through them really quick here. So basically his Razor Wind Core, this is a really good ability. So basically, if he backstabs someone or hits someone in the back, basically he'll inflict them with a wound. You can do that 3 times to an enemy. It basically puts out 25 damage per second, so basically it's like a quarter of his base damage, I believe, on a basic hit or something like that. Basically, I don't know how they do the math on this game in the background. I haven't really gone through the coding or anything like that, but I just know it deals 25% damage per second for 4 seconds. You can max stack that 3 times, like I said, right? So the biggest thing you want to do with him is you want to hit him in the back, wound him, get a bunch of wounds going, and you want to just dash through them, right? So it says when Aladdin dashes through the wounded enemy, he delivers another basic hit, basically dealing 50 damage, right? Or 50% damage, right? So it doubles up, right, when they're wounded if he dashes through them. So usually what I do is I'll get behind them on their back, and I hit them and inflict this wound, make sure that I'm getting red numbers show up, and I just go and just dash like crazy as I'm just swiping like crazy too, right? So he's a good swarmer type melee. He's one that's like upfront and personal, and you like him for like good games. Like he's not bad on GK actually, if you really want to try him out for GK, because like I said, you just keep swiping through GK and dashing through him as he's going through you, right? And if you keep doing it correctly, like I said, you can keep wounding this guy, and he keeps getting wounded, and you know he's gonna keep getting extra hits, basically hitting them, right? So it's not a bad core ability, and it actually throws out a lot of DPS when you actually really get boiled down to it and start doing it, right? But his special, everybody gets a special after so many seconds in the game, right? And it shows with your cooldown, right? So at the beginning of the game, it counts down 12 seconds, and then basically you can do a special ability. So this is his special ability, and it's called Shrouded Sword, guys, right? So anyways, deals 400% damage, which is, you know, a big hit, but that's a basic, you know, average for a special ability for power wise, right? Some of them go up to 800% damage. We'll go to them, you know, in other heroes down the road, right? But that's what I'm trying to say, long story short. But he will also inflict a wound after that, dealing another 25% damage per second for 8 seconds. Looks like it's probably not stackable. It's probably the only wound you get, because his cooldown is only so long, so he only gets the wound, right? But if he's already wounded, though, he'll also inflict stun for 3 seconds, so it's good for CCing the enemy too, right? But some bosses that you'll be fighting against, you can't really stun them because they're immune to them most of the time, right? But that's not a bad one, right? Core ability or SIG abilities, this happens when your hero becomes a 4-star hero, and it unlocks the signature ability of the hero, right? And each hero has a different signature ability that goes with their basically, you know, fighting style or whatever in that sense, right? Like you know, supports will have better support abilities, and then, you know, melees have better, you know, usually, you know, things to do with their attacks or whatever in that sense. But in this case here, it's called the Thief of Wonders for Aladdin, and what he does is he has a chance to purge attribute buffs, which are basically, if I highlight that, it's like whatever increase their health, attack, defense, or focus. So if someone's got an attack buff for an enemy, I can take that attack buff off them or a defense buff, but it's usually best for defense buffs, usually against the enemy, right? So, but if a buff is purged this way, he'll also get an attack buff for 6 seconds, and that stacks up to 3 times too as well, right? So that's not bad, right? And that's always while he's dashing through a wounded enemy. So this is really good for dashing through enemies, and that's his basics for his style. And I'll show this when I'm using him in a, you know, a battle or whatever in that sense, right? So anyways, that was his main abilities, I guess, basically in that sense. So now we go into the talents, right? And most heroes will have 2 basic talents. Most of them are usually like attack or defense or health or focus or something like that, boosting, right? So for Aladdin, it's attack and then focus, right? So for Aladdin, his big thing right now is his wounds, right? His wounds do a lot of things, right? So you want them to last longer. Fine Edge is not a bad talent for that, right? So as you keep leveling it up, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger all the way up to level 6, basically, all these talents, right? Some of my heroes I've already got them maxed out, some of them I got them almost maxed out, but some of them I haven't even touched yet. You know, like, it's one of those kind of games that you got to really work on everything in order to get everything all maxed out, right? So it's really cool. I like that for this game because there's a lot of, you know, in-depth behind it, right? Counter strikes, this is a cool advanced talent too as well. Whenever he deals damage basically to an enemy activating their heavy or a special ability, so you'll see a special thing show up on the ground for these heroes, and that's when they're going to be doing a heavy hit or a special hit, right? He'll deal additional critical damage if he hits with a crit on these characters while they're doing the heavies or the special holds, right? And boosting damage is always great, you know what I mean? Especially when it's a critical hit, right? And then skill from maneuver, this is another advanced talent you can put on him, and it's whenever he dashes through a wounded or stunned enemy, he's got a chance to gain a 20% focus buff for 5 seconds, which is huge for him. The thing with focus buffs is it gives you more of a chance to produce critical strikes. So you want focus buffs for Aladdin to do his crits, to do more damage when this happens with counter strikes, right? So that's the coolest thing about Aladdin. And also on top of that, with more crits, with more damage, hitting them in the back and things like that, you know, like, he can throw out a lot of DPS, but his elite talent makes it so that he lowers the enemy aggression towards him, so it gives him a chance to evade their attacks for some time too as well. So basically with evasion, this happens like basically he has a chance to not get hurt, basically like evade the attack altogether, right? It's basically as if the other enemies had dizzy put on them or something like that, and they basically miss completely when they do their swipe at you, right? But it's only for a couple seconds. It gives you a saving grace for him, so it helps a lot with him because he can be spongy. That's one of the biggest problems I had with Aladdin and why I don't have him as a main melee hero, but he is definitely one that is used a lot more, I've noticed, in Rifts, him and other heroes too as well, but he is one of them that I've been wanting to level up down the road. But best way to show off heroes, like I said, usually is we will go to, I don't know, let's try chapter 5, and we'll go to chapter 5 normal, because I just feel like doing it that way. I don't know, should we do a finishing move one? 5-10? We used to do 4-10, but I've noticed, you know, down the road that it seems a little easy now, because now my heroes are all a little bit higher leveled now, right? And, you know, some of my heroes you can use at higher levels now, so once I know that they are at decent, you know, power level, then I'm going to play a higher level in that sense. Like, so you can see basically Aladdin should be able to carry, because he's got minimum allowance for this, right? So we're going to give it a shot. Aladdin solo, and I'm going to show you how to basically play as him. And the biggest thing is you're going to want to swipe like crazy, and you're going to want to hit like crazy, and you're going to want to play dodgeball big time with this guy, and you'll see what I mean. So, like this. See how you swipe right through Oogie? And he's giving out extra hits. And you can come in and then just go like this. Give him a wound. Should have went after him as he was doing his special. But you can see the DPS fires up quite a bit really well. Now with storyline, you get, cool boosts like this, right? So most of the time I want to go with, oh, I didn't want to lose defense, but oh well. I meant to gain defense, but I guess I picked the wrong one. Oops. Wow, look at the lag for that. So even just swiping like this, right? So as you can see, he holds his own pretty good. For this level, at least. So I just dropped my crit chance, and I'm going to gain more damage. And that's basically always been a good plan for that. See, it works pretty well. There you have it, guys. So, that's Aladdin. Like I said, swipe and dash through them like crazy and just hit like crazy as you're doing it, right? And look at that. I soloed him for a level there. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. And hopefully I'm going to give you some more to take a look at down the road here, alright? Thanks a lot. Have a good night.